The single most acute problem in the world today is water. It's quite interesting. All our technological sophistication, all the advances of science and technology in the world in those last 200 years, and what's the single biggest issue in the world, the most basic need that human beings have? We have over 1 billion people. General estimate, World Health Organization, is about 1 billion, 200 or 300 million people who do not have reliable access to clean drinking water. That number will be 2 billion by 2020. I have one slide I often use in presentations. It also comes from the World Health Organization. And it's a picture of India and China, region by region, with the prospective water shortages by 2030. And the headline is, India and China unable to meet 50% of their water needs by 2030. Now, that's if nothing changes. That's just a projection of current trends. That's not a prediction. But again, it's an illustration of these profound set of challenges in the world. So I know I didn't say it like that when I talked to my mom many, many years ago, but I can remember this deep feeling that there was one problem underlying all of our problems on the surface. We live in this unbelievably interconnected, interdependent world, and we do not understand it. And we have virtually no ability, very limited ability, to lead and manage and live in ways that really could be in harmony with this reality. It doesn't mean it's not possible. I'm absolutely convinced it is possible, but it will require profound changes. Changes of which we can almost barely imagine today. One of the best books I've read in a long time is written by a former international director of Greenpeace. His name is Paul Gilding. He's in Australia. It's called The Great Disruption. He says something in the beginning part of the book. When I read it, it really resonated with me. But as you can imagine, I interact with people all around the world. Just on my way back from my semi-annual trip to China, I spend about a month a year in China. So I get to work with people and cultures all around the world. This is probably I've been hard to figure it out, probably my 5th visit to UAE, and we've had wonderful meetings, different gatherings, initially all organized by Saudi Aramco and a network of Arab companies, looking at and talking about the deep issues, developmental issues in the region. So it's given me a wonderful opportunity to get to know the cultures here in the Gulf, which I've become very fond of. So it's very nice for me to be back. I feel quite at home here. Probably because I grew up in the desert of Southern California, so I don't know. People think it's kind of crazy. I always open my window and turn all the air conditioning off because I'm very used to being very warm. But it's much more than that, obviously. I have a real respect for your cultures. Know many Americans, expats working for Aramco, who have chosen to not only live here during their employment, but to stay in the region because of their feeling of the family values in the region. So, and I think I've also come to appreciate a little bit of the challenges, which of course are different for the different countries in the Gulf. But like all countries in the world, we all face enormous challenges. So, one of the things that Gilding says in his book, which struck me quite, I never thought about it that way. He said, of course, this is a man who's been going around the world for 15 or 20 years talking about environmental issues, the international president of Greenpeace. He said, I believe that subconsciously, if not consciously, many people in the world have an implicit image of collapse. And he said, for that reason, I really avoid the word entirely. That's why he uses the word disruption. That resonated with me when I heard it because we do a lot of work with schools, primary and secondary education. There's really 2 areas that I concentrate all my work in these days, which is really the future of education, which of course is the future of our societies. Our families and our primary and secondary education is our future. There's an old saying in traditional Chinese culture that the mark of every golden age, is the children are the most important members of society and teaching the most revered profession.